Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm super excited to start a new series around topic of rising sign or ascendant in astrology. This video is going to be more of an introduction video where I get into the more philosophical or spiritual meaning of the ascendant in your birth chart. Also, we're going to clarify some of the misconception in modern astrology about your ascendant. And we also talk about how important ascendant in your birth chart, even important than your sun moon sign. All right, let's get started. First, let's talk a little bit about the logistics of the ascendant or rising sign. A lot of people get confused between what's the difference of ascendant or rising sign. So first of all, ascendant is where the exact moment when you were born, it's the eastern horizon, whatever the constellation was at the eastern horizon, that is your rising sign or ascendant. So the difference between the ascendant rising sign is the zodiac sign that occupying your first house is the rising sign, and ascendant is more the point, the exact degree that it lays in your first house that correlates with your seventh house, whereas this descendant, they combine together, they like cross your birth chart, divides your birth chart basically day and the night, or above or below. So half of your chart is in date or luminary, and then half of your chart is in a dark or in a shadow. So that it also kind of represents the equator of the Earth's day and night. So that's, I guess, the subtle difference of ascendant, which is the exact degree of the ascendant, and the rising sign is the entire sign that's occupying your first house and it's rising on the eastern horizon. Depends on what kind of house system you use. It might be different, your rising sign and ascendant. Let's say when I use Pro-free house system, my ascendant lays, my rising sign is Scorpio, but my ascendant is in the Sagittarius. But if I use whole sign house system, my ascendant and the rising sign both in a Sagittarius. So it's really up to you which house system you feel more resonate or feels more accurate to you. Now we got the logistics out of the way. Let's talk about more the philosophical meaning of the ascendant. So usually in the modern astrology, they talk about how, you know, your ascendant is your first impression. It's your the wrap that it covers up how you interact with people, but when they get to know you, it's more about your sun sign and moon sign. And there might be some truth to that, but ascendant in our chart holds way more weight than that. If we have like a pie, 100%, like your ascendant may take up like 50% importance of your entire birth chart, because ascendant occupies the first house, and the first house is the most important house in your entire birth chart because it represents you, and everything else on your birth chart is not you. It's about the environment, it's about the people, it's about the job. So only house that personal to you, represents you, is your first house. And it's also like first house neighbor with the 12th house, which is the house of metaphysics. Everything dissolves in the 12th house, and then first house is the initiation or the new beginning. So from more spiritual perspective, like we are spiritual being in a physical body. So if you look at from that perspective, like your soul belongs to the metaphysics, which is 12th house, and your body belongs to the material world or physical world, the second house, house of Taurus. So you are in the between the first house, is in the border of the metaphysics and the physical world. So we have this ability of coming to this incarnation. We always have a choice and the free will to choose. Do we want to live more a spiritual life, or do we want to live more materialistic life? Or can we really balance that? Can we like serve our soul, which is the neighbor of 12th house, also serve our physical body, the second house, and find balance? Some people might caught up in a physical realm with materialistic desires. They're focused more at the bottom of the chart. Some people might more caught up on the metaphysical world. They kind of detach from the physical. But yeah, the whole point is like the ascendant is the borderline of those metaphysical world and the physical world, and we are the representation of spiritual being in a physical body, which occupies the first house. And that's more the philosophical meaning of the ascendant or the first house. Since it represents you, in Asian astrology, it also saying it as like it's the steering wheel of the entire chart. So whatever sign occupies your ascendant is rules your entire chart. Let's say I have Sagittarius in my first house, so Jupiter is the ruler of my entire chart. So whatever happens to Jupiter is way significant to me than other signs or other planets, basically. In Vedic astrology, they call it like it's your lord. Basically, it's the boss. It has the most significant impact on your life, the ruler of your ascendant sign. And the second is ascendant is so important in your birth chart because it distributes the 12 house system. So if someone doesn't know their birth time, if you don't enter the birth time, like the entire birth chart is just a circle, there's no house division, so you don't know what planet in a what house in a what degree, so it gets a little bit confusing. And oh, I forgot to mention about all the degrees. So ascendant, the reason ascendant is more personal to you than your sun sign, moon sign, because ascendant changes the fastest. It goes through each sign every 2 hours. So if you don't know your birth time, your ascendant might be changing every 2 hours, and your moon, I think, changes every 2 days. The changes sign, and your sun sign changes every month. Don't quote me on that. So the fastest one who is changing is more personal to you, because you can share like maybe 1 million people with same sun sign. You can share, I don't know, like hundreds, thousands of people, same moon sign, same degree, but you only share like limited number of people your ascendant sign exact degree. So it would be more personal to you, and you would relate to other people has same ascendant than same sun sign. My sun sign is in Scorpio. Like I might not relate to all the Scorpio sun sign people compares to Sagittarius rising, because it divides that 12 house division. So we have the same midheaven, we have same descendant, Gemini, same IC, fourth house, Pisces. So we pretty much have a similar background, family background, similar career, midheaven, Virgo, and similar relationships struggle, Gemini in the seventh house. So you will relate to them more than your sun sign. So I hope you guys got the point. So when I watch my horoscope or read my horoscope, I really look at the rising sign, not the sun sign, so, because it's more personal to you. All right, and then let's talk about the rulership of the chart. So like I said earlier, the rulership of your ascendant also very important, because the house it placed in, and that whatever zodiac sign rules that house really shows up in your life different. Let's say I have a Sagittarius and my Jupiter is in the 8th house of Cancer. So if we follow the modern astrology of like, oh, ascendant is just your first impression, how you act when you first time meet people, and then they talk about like Sagittarius is very outgoing, happy go lucky. Well, I'm not that at all, because my Jupiter is in a Cancer, so I am very shy Sagittarius compared to maybe your Jupiter in Aries, or your Jupiter is in a Sagittarius. Maybe you're very outgoing, go lucky. If you do not resonate with your ascendant sign, it is probably because first, like, we are lack of understanding of astrology. Like, astrology can be very complicated. When I just start learning astrology, I also kind of, picked up the modern concepts, like, okay, like your ascendant is the wrap, your mask, how your first impression, all that. And then I would not resonate with any of that. Then I thought like, oh, astrology is not accurate because I don't connect with it. But the more I study astrology, the complex it gets, the deeper it gets, and the more I understand the philosophical meaning behind a lot of things, it starts making sense, because we don't really consider the aspects, the squares, the opposites, and all that. Let's say like I have tons of planets in the 11th house in the Libra, and you would think I would be a super social person, but I have Saturn in a Capricorn, its own sign. So Saturn is also have huge power over me, and it's oppositing my 11th house. So I am not a social person, even though I have a stellium of planets in 11th house. So my whole point is, I'm not trying to just talk about myself. My point is, the more you understand the complex layer of the astrology, that you understand why you do not resonate with either your sun sign, moon sign, your rising sign, because there's a different elements impacting on it. The ruler of your ascendant, where it's located, what sign is it in, and what planets are conjuncting, what aspects it's making to other planets, and what are some of the dominant energies in your chart. Even though, like I said, ascendant is very important, but when you have like a stellium of planets, 4 or 5 planets in one house, that energy might take over your ascendant. Because usually if you have like scattered planets, your ascendant, you will resonate with your ascendant a lot, because we are like the first house, our ascendant represents us. So if you talk about like the personality traits and deep down who you are is really correlates with your ascendant, not your sun and moon sign. Let's say if it's like 100% pie, you would say 50% of your character's traits comes from your ascendant, maybe 30% comes from sun sign, 20% comes from your moon sign. and then you are that 100% a pie. So some of you might not totally resonate with your ascendant because your sun sign, moon sign also impacting on it. So I hope I didn't confuse you guys. I guess my point is your chart is very complex. So just isolating just ascendant or sun sign, moon sign is not going to describe you accurately. So you're not going to resonate with a lot of the description people talking about, on YouTube videos. And another thing is, I'm not a big fan of like getting into the personality traits psychology by just looking at your chart or zodiac sign. I think our chart has a deeper meaning or more important role than just describing us, like, oh, you like this, you don't like that, you're introvert, you're extrovert. It's like, okay, I already know that. So like, I think astrology has more important role than just describing our traits or personalities. It really gives us, first of all, I guess knowing your personality traits helps you to know yourself better. So you know why you're acting the way you're acting. And then some of the unfavorable action you're taking, there's a remedies or there's a certain solution for that. Like for Aries, if you're too impulsive and you don't think twice before you take action, that helps you to stop. Next time you take impulsive action, you stop yourself, like, okay, I'm Aries, I have a lot of Aries qualities, how can I like think twice before I take action? Like that's still a practical in your life. The second thing astrology helps us is really, it informs us our karma. I don't know if you into spirituality or philosophy. So we're not blank slates when we're born. We come in with certain karma. Karma is basically the action, the reaction, like whatever action we took, because we have free will and choice, and we are living in the reaction of the action we took before previous life, or even like whatever choice you made, you're living the result of that choice. Let's say yesterday you made a choice, maybe you're living the result of that choice today. So it's not something surprising or mysterious or occult. It's just a natural law that governs this physical reality. So astrology gives us that knowledge of like, okay, this is my karma. I came in with Saturn in the second house, so I'm gonna struggle financially, and Saturn is gonna teach me certain lessons in this area of my life. So we're more accepting, okay, this is how my life is gonna play out, this is how I'm gonna react from more of a spiritual perspective, instead of like, why this happened to me. We're more in the accepting mode, like, this is my karma, I'm gonna live my best to dissolve it and live a more harmonious life. And another role of your birth chart is really, it also have the role of like prediction. I think in ancient astrology they use it more for prediction instead of describing someone's personality. But now we kind of get used to the modern side of astrology, just describe people how they are. My last point is, you are not your birth chart. You are more than your birth chart. Our birth chart is just something we came in with, but that's not where we end up. It doesn't tell our destiny. It might show us the circumstances we're gonna interact with or issues we're gonna face, but it doesn't tell us how we're gonna react. Like, we still have a free will and choice to change things in our life, become a different person. So you are more than your birth chart. The more conscious and aware you are, your birth chart has less control over you. So most of my videos, I always talk about like, don't hang up too much on your birth chart or geek out on your birth chart, because you are more than your birth chart, and there's certain things you can do to change certain things. It's not fated, or certain things fated or destined, but we always have a choice and free will. And your birth chart is dynamic, it's always changing. You are dynamic and changing. So just keep that in mind. I'm way off topic and mumbling for I don't know how long. So I'm gonna stop right here. Just if we summarize, ascendant rising sign is very important in your birth chart, because that's the only thing that represents you, compares to everything else, is about everything else on your chart. Only thing is about you is your first house ascendant. And the second thing is the rulership of your ascendant, which house and aspects it makes has a more weight or in your birth chart, like it's the lord or the ruler of your entire chart. So you would look at that planet more heavily than other planets that affecting your chart. And the last point is you are more than your birth chart. You're dynamic, you have free will, you are a spirit in a physical body, so you can change things the way you like, and you always have a choice. And my future videos, I will get into each zodiac sign when they're placed in ascendant, how it's gonna play out in your life. And if you resonate any of those, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. I will talk to you guys in my next video.